Hello again, everyone. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Old School Monday Night Raw review for the night, Monday, March the 4th, 2013. Now, before we talk about the show, I want to talk about what I thought was the Old School of Raw tonight. Now, 3 years ago, Raw did the Old School edition. They had the Old School Arena, they had the Old School referee shirts, but last time wasn't just about having the old school feel, having the old school look. It was about having the old school stars dominate. You had Gene Oakley in the interview stage. You had a lot of old people coming up to wrestle, like, legends, should I say legends. Tonight, that's what Raw was. It was just a feel. You know what I mean? They just had the old school arena, the old school feel. It's basically the same old Raw with just old scenery. There's not much old school to it. Old school to WWE meant the old time legends like Dusty Rhodes, Sergeant Slaughter, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan getting beat up by Jack Swagger. Mae Young's birthday party getting interrupted by Punk. That was kind of funny though. Basically, WWE kind of disrespected the legends and misused them tonight. And the only good thing about the old school Raw was New Age Outlaws. They killed it tonight. I hope they come back full time. I've been reading them to come back full time. They should kick some ass and they should teach these young guys how to do a tag team wrestling style. Now, of course, I know everyone's going to complain, and I'm going to kind of too, but not exactly. No Stone Cold yet again tonight. Now, here's my thing. You had The Rock tonight. You had Cena there tonight. A certain dead man who everyone knew was going to be coming back tonight came back tonight. And also Triple H. You had all these big guys there tonight. I don't think, and despite my love for Stone Cold, and I would have loved for him to be there again, I think the reason why Stone Cold hasn't been in all these events is because he doesn't want to overshadow anybody. There are too many big stars already. Triple H, Rock, and Taker. So for Stone Cold to be there, especially with all this hype going on, especially some World Media stuff happening tonight, also might have felt out of place. Although I would have loved him to show up. And I've complained about him not showing up before, but at least I've kind of finally learned why Stone Cold doesn't show up to these things. Because he doesn't want to be just the middleman. He wants to be the star of it. He doesn't want to be a supporting member. So there you go. Like I said, it was sad to see Mean Gene only show up during that Mae Young skit. To see him interview people last time. I hope WWE, when they do this again, remember the WWE, if you ever do old school again, please, not just make it a feel. Go with the fucking gimmick. Use old people's music. Like for Mark Henry, you used this new song. Yet for last time, they did use the sexual chocolate thing. It's kind of weird to see Mark Henry Mae Young again, but besides that, it's just the old school arena, old school feel, but not a lot of old school gimmickry. Like no old school music much. And not a lot of old school wrestling appearances, besides few on far between. And if they will use, they will use shitty. So, besides New Age Outlaws. So, like I said, if WWE does old school again, hope they nail it. Hope they nail it this time. Hope they really get with the gimmick. Now we kick off Raw with The Inevitable. The Undertaker kicking off Raw, coming out and showing The Undertaker, coming out to show the WM logo, showing that indeed he was back to wrestle someone at WrestleMania. Well, ironically, CM Punk was next to come out after Taker. Now, the way they're building this up, I wasn't a big fan of it. Of the way they kind of build the inevitable. Everyone who knows internet stuff like me, like all the wrestling people in the internet community knew that Taker was going to wrestle Punk. And we all knew that tonight was inevitably the night that Punk was going to challenge Taker. Now, the way they set up the match between Punk and Taker was not the way I intended it to be, or anyone else. Punk came out after Taker came out saying, well, I felt screwed by the people, blah, 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 blah. I got screwed out of being the longest winning champion. Well, you like to fuck with my streak? I'm going to fuck with another streak. A streak that you like, 20-0. Undertaker making 20-1. As Punk was speaking, here comes Sheamus, here comes Big Show, here comes Randy Orton. All three guys think they should face Taker. Big Show and Orton have faced Taker before at WrestleMania. Orton at WrestleMania 21. And Big Show at WrestleMania 19. In a tag match, a forgettable one with him and entering against Nathan Jones and Taker as entry a handicap match. That was 10 years ago. Anyway, Vicky Guerrero made a fatal 4-way match. The winner would take on Undertaker. It was Sheamus, Big Show, Orton, and Punk. Now, that's why I hate the way they did it. Like, the way they built, like, we all knew Punk was going to face Taker. But why in the living hell, why in the love of God, would you have to make Punk have to be in a freaking fatal 4-way match when everyone knew Punk was going to win? So go WWE into predictability. You know, like Punk and Cena, everyone knew Cena was going to win last week, despite it being an epic match. And everyone, unfortunately, knows Super Cena's going to beat The Rock. And I'll get to their lackluster promo in a moment, a few minutes or so. So there you go. The Fatal 4-Way is our main event tonight. And I thought the main event was useless. You know, and you know what? Since we all know who was going to win, well, for the first time ever, I'm actually going to review the main event first. Because we all knew who was going to win the main event. CM Punk. So it's CM Punk in a useless Fatal 4-Way. Pointless, because we all knew he was going to face Taker no matter what. Taking on Sheamus, Orton, and Big Show. I know they were trying to hype up the fact, like they're trying to hype up the match and have Punk fight to get the match. But this was not the way to do it. The main event, especially following last week's epic main event, was okay. You know, there were some decent things in the main event, like Big Show dominated, like halfway towards the match, like he looked very dominant. And like every guy had a moment. You know, every guy had the advantage. Punk kind of had a good plan though. After interrupting Mae Young's speech to interrupt that and come out for the match, he basically slithered in. You know, he was like copying another WWE superstar that took every opportunity every time he gets another WWE Hall of Famer who I was also sad to not see there, but because of his problems with WWE contract-wise, he wasn't there. Edge. Coming in and out, like taking every opportunity he could get. But I did like the finish though, with everybody's finishers, like, you know, Big Show got the choke slam on Orton, then Sheamus got the bro kick on him, then Orton came back in with the RKO, and Punk was already knocked out. Punk got knocked out by the knockout, by weapons of mass destruction by Big Show, and after Big Show got the RKO, Punk came back in to nail an insecurity kick to Orton to set up the GTS in 1, 2, 3, yes, despite knowing he was going to win, he did win anyway. Punk ended up winning the match, as we all know, getting the opportunity to wrestle The Undertaker at WrestleMania as 2 streaks. The man who had the longest streak as champion takes on the man who has the longest undefeated streak in WWE history at Mania. The Taker came out, eyed Punk, and that was it. That's how we ended Raw tonight. Like I said, I usually don't do the main event first, but since we all knew Punk was going to win this pointless main event, I decided just, hey, do the main event first. So, there was like, it was just a stare down of Undertaker at the ramp, which is kind of old school feel, like I said. It was just an old school feel, not a lot of old school wrestlers tonight. That's my point about this show tonight. And Punk staring back, and that's how we ended Raw. They'll probably have some sort of real altercation, like kind of punching each other next week. Now, Punk and Taker have faced each other many times in gimmicky matches, like Hell in a Cell, submission matches. This is the first full-on real, actual one-on-one match. No gimmicks involved, no stipulations. And it's at Mania. And it's kind of pointless that CM Punk's not the champion. And like I said, when Rock revealed the title 2 weeks ago, I'm still mad that Punk did not get the chance to reveal that new belt himself. That's kind of a slap in the face to Punk, in my mind. But anyway, there you go. We all knew it was going to be set up tonight. The way it was set up, kind of pointless having Punk win a fatal 4-way to face Taker. That was kind of pointless. But no matter the outcome, no matter how he got to be in that position, Punk Taker is now official for WrestleMania 29. So with the main event out of the way, let's continue with the rest of Raw in this kind of unusual review. Like I said, doing main event first. I usually don't do that, but hey, we all knew Punk was going to win. So there you go. Let's begin the rest of Raw backwards to the beginning with Antonio Cesaro taking on Goldberg. I mean, Ryback. Now, it's just me, or is the U.S. champion. Like, Ryback's faced this Cesaro many times, and every time Cesaro cannot get a win on Ryback. Like, you talk about Taker having an undefeated streak. I think Ryback's got an undefeated streak on Cesaro. He's 5-0 with his win tonight, and he hasn't got a U.S. title match. Well, and I was talking talk Mania in a moment, but actually Cesaro looked decent tonight. Cesaro had some great offense on Ryback, but indeed, like all the rest, and like once again, Cesaro got the shell shock, but he got a good elbow, and like it was, the ending came when Ryback was trying to deliver the meet hook clothesline, and Cesaro nailed him with a killer elbow. But then Ryback got back up, got the shell shock, 1-2-3 victory for Ryback, feed him more. Now, during this match, as Ryback got the victory, I was like, Ryback doesn't have a match yet for WrestleMania. Who's going to be his WrestleMania match? Well, the seed may have been planted tonight. As Ryback was celebrating, here comes Mark Henry. Coming out for his match. Ryback, Mark Henry. That would be an interesting scenario to do with Ryback and Mark Henry, but I smell 3 guys named Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns that could be a Mania match with Sheamus and Ryback and Orton, now that Orton and Sheamus lost. That's what I'm thinking. Because Sheamus and Orton have their own problems with Shield. So either 1 or 2 matches with Ryback's going to take place. Either Ryback and Mark Henry, or Ryback teaming up with Orton and Sheamus, since they both lost to Punk tonight, which I knew, and team up against the Shield in a 6-man match at Mania. That'd be kind of a pointless match to do, but hey, any match with Ryback's kind of pointless, almost, especially Ryback and Mark Henry. But I think that match would be kind of interesting because it's World's Strongest Man against a strong guy like Ryback, but we'll see what route WWE decides to go to. But with that in mind, let's continue on with this Raw with Mark Henry taking on Zack Ryder. Predictable. Ryder gets squashed again. But what's kind of funny was he was wearing, if you paid attention to his trunks, on the back it says, "Push me." Of course, if you read his Twitter, he's been very vocal about his demotion from WWE, and he's wearing his "Push me." He's very frustrated. He should take, in my opinion, he should take his frustration and turn heel. You know, he should take his frustration and turn it into a storyline. You know, that's how you create Zito Lion's story out of frustration. So now Zito Lion's story done, which I felt WWE killed, and I think everybody else agreed with me. Everybody else who watched Zito Lion's story after WWE took over on their YouTube channel felt that WWE ruined Zito Lion's story. Dragged for an entire year till it got canceled earlier last month. Episode 100. You know, see Zack Ryder get squashed again, so there you go. Mark Henry wants fucking slam. Got squashed on Zack Ryder. Mark Henry wins yet again. Probably putting a match against Ryback unless, you know, they go with the Shield tag match with Ryback and Sheamus and Orton. Now in the next match of Raw, like I said, minus the main event, which I already reviewed, we went from woo 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 to woo! Nature Boy Ric Flair coming out to accompany The Miz in his matchup against Dolph Ziggler, Mr. Money in the Bank. Is he ever going to cash in? I think Biggie Langston and AJ's doing more damage to his career, as we would see with this matchup. Anyway, it was a decent matchup from 2 guys who were former world champions, despite Ziggler holding it for less than a minute. Anyway, it was a decent matchup. Very athletic. Ziggler took control, and I'm surprised that Ziggler didn't have Biggie Langston and AJ interfere much in the matchup until maybe towards the end. Of course, Flair and Miz were celebrating a little bit early as Miz did a big move with dumping Ziggler off the top, dumping him over the top to the ringside area. And it was a decent matchup. Dolph looked very good in this matchup. He did some decent moves. Nail a sleeper on him. Like Miz had control early on. Of course, Ziggler got it later on. Of course, the sleeper. As indeed, Miz was trying to fight back after Ziggler had the advantage. AJ distracted the Miz as Miz was ready to deliver the figure 4 after a double axe handle off the top. Biggie Langston came out after the referee got distracted by AJ. Tried to punch the Miz, but then Biggie Langston got punched by Ric Flair. And with Biggie Langston out, Miz got his head straight, got the figure 4, and Ziggler tapped out. So there you go with Miz getting the victory. Before the figure 4, Ziggler did try to get the distraction. He tried to capitalize on the distraction from Biggie Langston with a roll-up, but indeed, that didn't pay up. But like I said, Miz got the figure 4 the victory over Dolph Ziggler. With a little help from the Nature Boy. Goes, then storyline with Miz and Ziggler. Storyline with Miz and Flair. I heard it was supposed to be Flair mentoring Ziggler. Because we saw Flair mentor Miz for a while, then left, and now we see Flair mentor Miz yet again. So, see if this whops on Miz, maybe Miz and Ziggler Mania, but we don't know. Ziggler does face off a Buddha on Friday, non-title. Hopefully, that's when Ziggler cashes it in. So there you go. Now on to our next segment, which I said was poorly done. The promo, the counterpoint between The Rock, the WWE Champion, and now, of course, his number one contender, John Cena. Now, the slogan was once in a lifetime. Well, caught twice in a lifetime. But before I get to that promo, this is old school Wall. There were some new school references. Rock, during his promo, he mentioned the Harlem Shake and Honey Boo Boo. And I'm hearing WWE's trying to do the world's largest Harlem Shake. If they do that, wow. That's WWE's social media attack. You know, social media smackdown. Then they're going to try to do the world's largest Harlem Shake. Anyway, Rock came out talking about, you know, the one man I want to face at Mania was John Cena. Because Cena's got the passion, the heart. Now, I knew that these guys were going to wrestle again after Rock won at the Rumble and Cena won the Rumble, which, of course, Cena made sense. That how ironic that was at the Rumble, that I won the Rumble match and you won the WWE Championship that night. So, the promo, it was like, Cena's like, they won, the feud last year was built on personal animosity. You know, built on personal hatred for each other. This feud, the way this storyline is building up, it's more like redemption for John Cena. It's more like, I need to win this match again to redeem myself from losing to you, the ultimate failure, blah, 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 blah. And I did like that Rock did say, you're not going to get paid back, I'm going to kick your ass. But the promo was poorly delivered. You know, I knew this storyline, I knew this feud wasn't going to strike lightning twice. You know, and boy, oh boy, did I predict that one way, that Rock and Cena ain't going to strike lightning twice. You know, in 34 weeks, you know, the hype is not there this time. You know, last year was more about personal momentum, big publicity for it, and there was personal vendettas. The promos were amazing, but the Rock and Cena promo better be better, but like the Rock Punk feud didn't have anything going for it. The promos were not that great. The match was just okay. I predict the same thing for Rock and Cena. And I predict Super Cena's going to win. I want Rock to win again. I said it last year. I thought Cena was going to beat The Rock, but Rock beats Cena. But I think Rock's going to eventually. Cena's going to win, and then have Rock Cena 3. The rubber match. So we'll see what goes down there. So there you go. Rock Cena starts the feud tonight like Taker and Punk does. They kept replaying Taker's return and kept hyping it over and over again. So there you go. And I did like the quotes, like John Cena said a quote from Mike Tyson saying, to be the best, you have to beat the living. I did like Rock's other quote saying about winning isn't everything or whatever. Like a quote from Lance Armstrong, who Rock said is full of crap like John Cena, because Lance Armstrong's a liar. But besides that, the promo was not great, and I knew this storyline wasn't going to be as good as last year. Now on to our next matchup. An example of how the WWE treated the Legends tonight, poorly. Jack Swagger taking on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It wasn't exactly a match, it was more like a segment. But it's kind of like a storyline build-up for Jack Swagger, because Jack Swagger represents, you know, the Tea Party, the New America, you know, the Weird America. And what better way to prove you're the New America than to attack 3 men who represented the old American values, the American dream. You know, Dusty Rhodes, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Sergeant Slaughter, who represent the old values of the old America. And Swagger's like, this ain't America anymore. This is New America. You beat the crap out of Hacksaw, Dusty Rhodes, and Slaughter with a 2x4. Basically, that was an analogy for what WWE did to the Legends tonight. Beat the crap out of them and treated them like crap tonight, unless you were the New Age Outlaws. So there you go, Swagger beat the crap out of the Legends. And I was surprised Bruno Del Rio didn't come out to attack Swagger during that segment. Alberto did beat up Swagger backstage. Of course, Alberto and Swagger going up at Mania. And Swagger will try to get involved in Alberto's match, but we'll see if those two get the brawl again during Alberto's match later on this evening. Now on to our next match, tag team match. Now last week on SmackDown and Raw, we saw Kane and Daniel Bryan take on the Primetime Players with one arm tied behind the back and one blindfolded. Bryan blindfolded last week on Raw, and Kane one arm tied on Raw. In SmackDown, Kane blinded and Daniel with one arm tied. But now, no gimmicks, no stupidity, as it was the BTB Primetime Players who are worth millions of dollars, accompanied by, well, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and, hell no, Daniel Bryan and Kane. Now, I've been saying this a lot about the Primetime Players. I've been a big Primetime Players fan. From the get-go, I like the gimmick. And I think they should have been tag team champions a long time ago, like World Scholars, but wait until they're going to lose the titles. They've had the titles for so long, and they kind of had their problems, but they kind of teamed up pretty decently tonight. There was no altercation. There was no arguing. They teamed up pretty well tonight with no blind tags, no arguing. They just came in, beat the crap out of PTP, despite PTP's heavy advantage at great offense. But of course, Kane coming up a hot attack after Daniel Bryan dominated the early half and got beat up by Titus and Darren in the corner. Kane got the hot tag, choke slam Darren, and ended the match 1, 2, 3. Indeed, Kane and Daniel Bryan, despite the problems, got the victory. And even DiBiase stuffed a $100 bill down Darren Young's mouth, which Daniel Bryan stole. Now on to our next matchup, which involved Sweet D, the new name of Tenzai, Albert, teaming up with Brodus Clay. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I wish these two were heels. They would be a dominant tag team if they were heels, instead of this stupid dance gimmick. They would really be a dominant force in tag team if they weren't treated as bad as Tenzai did when he was here. I don't know. Tenzai came in like a monster and got squashed to hell until he teamed up with Brodus. Speaking of squash, this was a fucking squash. Teaming up against the two members of the 3MB, McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, with the Honky Tonk Man in the corner. And Honky Tonk got interrupted. That was kind of stupid. I like Honky Tonk Man, but coming else, kind of pointless. Like I said, that's how they used the Legends tonight. The use of the Legends, with the exception of New Age Outlaws, was pointless. So it was like, what, 20 seconds, you know. It was a blink and miss match with Heath Slater getting squashed by Tenzai. You know, Drew McIntyre got rolled up by Tenzai. That was it. Kind of a quick match on a stupid squash. And I knew that after the match, Honky Tonk Man was going to try to do his singing and dancing and nail Heath Slater in the head with a guitar, which he did. That was like the only closest thing to old school by that point. And this is like, what, the second album. So that's how this old school has been tonight. Treating it like crap. Just going with the old school arena feel, but not going with the gimmick with having a lot of old wrestlers come in and wrestle. So there you go. That's that squash. Let's move on with our next order of business, which was, I think it was the supposed debut of Fandango. Do I do a better introduction than Justin Roberts? Anyway, last week, Fandango was supposed to debut on SmackDown a match, and he chickened out for whatever reason, making up some lame excuse, and he did it yet again tonight. He was supposed to wrestle Kofi Kingston in his debut, and was supposed to wrestle, and he once again chickened out because Justin Roberts wasn't doing his introduction right. Even I can do better Fandango than Justin Roberts. Want to do a better Fandango? Fandango! He said, hold the A's. So anyway, once again, Fandango did not wrestle. You know, it's kind of stupid, you know, having this hype, you know, and not wrestle for 2 weeks in a row. So, will Fandango finally wrestle? That's probably as asked as a question as when is Dolph Ziggler ever going to cash in Money in the Bank? Anyway, on to our next segment, which involved Triple H. Talking about, of course, his big brawl with Brock Lesnar. Now, I was just reviewing this in my head when Triple H's promo came on. Triple H said after SummerSlam he was going to retire. And I felt that way. I think I said that when Triple H did make that speech about retiring. I really felt that. Until I saw Triple H at the Slammies. You know, it was his first overall appearance since hinting retirement. I really thought he was done this time, but he pulled a Michael Jordan. He pulled a Cher. He ain't retired. Of course, we saw him come back last week. He said on his promo tonight, I needed a reason to come back. Well, after my father-in-law got attacked by Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar returned, I had a reason to come back to beat up Brock Lesnar, which I did last week and beat the crap out of him, Brock. He basically laid down the challenge, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, WrestleMania 29. You know, I hope it's no holds barred, like I mentioned. I hope it's a no holds barred match. That's the fight they need to have. And he has Brock Lesnar, are going to play the game? Are you going to show up? Or are you just going to sit there and bleed? You know what's going to happen. Like we knew Triple H was going to come back to face Brock Lesnar. And now it's going to happen. Brock Lesnar's probably going to give an answer. Is it going to take him like a month to say yes? Like the last time Triple H challenged him? Triple H challenged Lesnar. He took forever to say yes. And I think Triple H asked him in June after No Way Out. And Brock Lesnar didn't say yes until Raw 1000, about a month. So you got 5 weeks. So it won't take a month for Brock Lesnar to say yes this time. So there you go. Triple H Lesnar challenge is set. Even Stephanie tweeted Jerry Lawler. Nice spots, by the way. I'm going to tweet Stephanie. Anyway, Stephanie tweeted time to play the game block. So there you go. Now, our next match will involve the World Champion, Alberto Del Rio, taking on the Intercontinental Champion, Wade Barrett. Now, I told you that Alberto Del Rio beat the crap out of Jack Swagger backstage, and I told you that Jack Swagger would try to get involved in Alberto's match. Now, he did came out in the middle of the match, but he did nothing. Wade Barrett looked pretty good tonight. He dominated over the World Champion. He had the offense early on, nailed him outside the ring, nailing him on the turnbuckles. And, this is old school, so blue turnbuckles. It was kind of cool to see the old school feel, but like I said, I just didn't like the way they treated the Legends tonight. The same way they treated the Legends at the 20th anniversary of Raw. I think the Slammers was better than this. And Raw 1000. And I read a comment that said the 20th anniversary of Raw was better than this. Come fucking on. Come fucking on. Are you kidding me? 20th anniversary of Raw sucked. Watch my review for that on this channel. Anyway, Wade Barrett looked decent in this matchup, but indeed Alberto Del Rio came flying back despite Swagger at ringside. And it took Alberto a long time to notice that Swagger was at ringside. He got the Winds of Change by Barrett. He got the Winds of Change by Barrett. Like Barrett nailed the Winds of Change on him, but indeed Del Rio weakened the arm. And indeed he got the arm after an attempt pinned by Wade. Got the cross-arm breaker. Got the victory by making Barrett tap out. And Jack Swagger wanted a piece of Alberto, but indeed Colto held him back. So there you go, Alberto Del Rio gaining momentum and sending a big message to Jack Swagger for the match at WrestleMania. Unless Dolph Ziggler decides to cash in Money in the Bank on Friday. Finally. So there you go. Because Alberto's supposed to take on Dolph Ziggler on Friday. Will it be the match for the title? Will Ziggler cash it in? We'll find out Friday. Now on to the next match. Probably my favorite match of Raw. Just because it was really fucking old school. Finally. A real old school match involving you didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Generation X, probably busy here as 5-time WWE, WWF Tag Team Champions of the Wall Dog, Jesse James, the Badass, not double cooking letter, Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws, taking out Primo and Epico. Now, New Age Outlaws booked some tag matches last couple of weeks at house shows, and I was glad to see them back on Raw tonight. Now, they never wrestled on WWE television in 13 years together. Of course, they've been wrestling TNA and other organizations. So it's kind of cool to see them on WWE television again. And I marked the fuck out, I'm a big fan for the old DX. The DX. Road Dogg. Triple H. X-Pac. Shawn Michaels. Badass, Road Dogg. If you didn't see my Raw People 1000 and see me walk out for the DX reunion, know now that I'm a DX walk. The DX. Missing China. Anyway, it was nice to see Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. They looked great and they wrestled great tonight. Road Dogg got They only go in his old shake, right on his little doggy style, his hippity hop. And speaking of, I mentioned Rock did mention Honey Boo Boo and Harlem Shake. Wall Dog mentioned Thrift Shop. I wear your granddad's clothes. That was kind of weird, but anyway, suck it, dude. Anyway, of course, after Wall Dog got beat up after the early wall, Badass got the hot tag. Bit of got by the Primo, of course, got the famous earned the victory. Great to see New Age Outlaws back. They may go back for another one at the tag team titles. I think it would be great to see him back in the tech division full time. I've been reading a lot about it. Done the contract. Billy is an agent for NXT. So is Wall Dog. So I would love to see him back full time. But you never know. Great to see him back. It's like the only old school moment, the only real old school match we had tonight. That's what was lacking tonight when it comes to the old school theme. It was just the feel with just the scenery. We didn't have any old school wrestling matches besides the New Age Outlaws match. So that I really marked down on. Of course, after that, Fatal 4-Way, Punk, Ryback, Punk, Sheamus, Orton, Show, of course, Punk winning, Punk Taker, set up. So that is it. That is my Raw review for tonight. It's old school Raw that needed a little bit more old school than just the New Age Outlaws match. Thank you all very much for watching. I didn't win as much, but I'm more contained tonight. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching again. See you all later. Yeah. If you're not down with my review, I got 2 words for you. You know what they are. See you later. Bye-bye. I'm kidding. I just want to say that. Old school, bye-bye. See ya.